this week's Foundation Friday. I am joined today by Eric Gross, Chief Operating Officer at Dext Capital. Thanks for joining me, Eric.
It's my pleasure, Jesse.
Now, it's great to have you on here today, and we're here to talk about a cause that's near and dear to your heart called Candlelighters. We briefly talked about this last year when I had you and a few other people from Dext on at a high level, but I know you have a charity ride coming up, and those monies help support Candlelighters. So I guess I'll just kind of jump in here real quick. What is Candlelighters again, Eric, and how did you get involved in the charity?
Well, Candlelighters is a nonprofit organization that provides support to children with cancer, but it's a little broader than some of the organizations in that it also reaches out and supports the entire family. The concept being that, if one of your kids is unfortunate to come down with cancer, it obviously affects that child, but it also affects the siblings and the parents and grandparents. It's an all-consuming type of thing, and so Candlelighters puts out support and resources to help the whole family get through these things, and so that kind of resonates with me very much so. I've been fortunate enough that I have not ever had any children that have had cancer, but being a parent, I can't even imagine how difficult that would be and what an impact that would have on our family. So that's kind of why Candlelighters has been meaningful for me personally.
Perfect. And is Candlelighters specific to Oregon, or is it a national charity?
They have chapters. They have chapters nationwide. Some more than others. The chapter that I'm involved with supports all of Oregon and Southwest Washington.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. And then, so let's talk about this upcoming ride, which I think you introduced me to last year, and you send out the weekly updates, and it's kind of neat to see exactly what's going on. So, if you don't mind, to discuss in the ride, what is your level of involvement? Like, is it literally cycling all over the state?
Well, it's so there's a ride. It's called Cycle Oregon. It's a week-long ride, and the routes generally are between 400 and maybe 500 miles. It's generally through some really difficult hilly terrain, and they change the route every year. And Candlelighters became associated with Cycle Oregon as a platform to put a team together to use that as their fundraiser. And it's Candlelighters' largest fundraising event. We raised generally just north of $200,000, and we have what we call our honored children, which are kids that we ride for, and they're kind of they put a face to the cause. These kids all either have or had cancer, and so we ride in their honor and on their team, and we use that to raise funds. So I will say I do this somewhat selfishly because I do like to ride. I do enjoy the people that I ride with, so it's very social. Type of a environment. And as I was sharing with you earlier, selfishly, when you get involved with these types of things, as you know, you get way more out of it than you give. And
sure.
And so it's kind of self-perpetuating that you just want to continue to do that because you get so much out of it yourself.
No, that's fantastic. So how many different riders are going to be in your Candlelighters group?
Well, the ride itself will have about 1,500 riders. Candlelighters will probably put a team of about 40 to 50 people out there, all dressed in spandex. We're a good-looking group, I got to tell you.
Well, maybe we'll have to see what we can do to get our hands on a few of those photos. Might have to bribe Ken or somebody at Dext for some of that intel.
You need to be careful about what you ask for. You might just get one of them. And then, it's one of those images that you may not be able to get out of your head. So just be careful there.
It's fine. I have to watch myself on the Peloton, so I can only imagine.
You get it. I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
So how many years have you been doing this ride?
I was thinking about that today. I think this is going to be my 8th or 9th ride with Candlelighters.
Okay.
So you kind of get into the swing of things. I will say that on somewhat of a sour note, that this is going to be the last year that Cycle Oregon offers the week-long ride. They call it the Classic.
Okay.
So I'm sure we're going to continue the tradition with Candlelighters, but it'll probably be with a different ride next year.
I was going to say, I mean, so no more hotels. You need to stay in tents. Like, how does that work? Like, you ride all day, then they give you hotels at night, and then
Yeah, my hotel is a tent,
okay,
and
hotels
and
at
I,
night.
and I won't lie to you. Every year I think, oh my gosh, a week in a tent, sleeping on the ground or on a cot. But that's not the worst. The worst are the porta potties. Living with porta potties for a week. I don't know, but
No. Yep.
fortunately, because of my age, I have a very poor memory, and so by the time it rolls around again, I've totally forgot about it until I get on the ride and go, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh geez, let's not do it again.
So the funds that are raised for Candlelighters, where do they go, Eric?
Well, Candlelighters, I'm pleased to report, is a very efficient organization that over 80% of the funds find their way to the kids themselves and the families. And they host camps. A lot of times they're giving out just cards for gas, right? So some of these families are really, they're scraping by, and to say, hey, I need you to drive 4 hours to Portland to, so your kid can go through a treatment. Just filling up the car with gas can be a difficult, and expensive type of proposition. And then you got to stay somewhere while you're up here. And, so it's kind of a mix between just providing support, just the basic support to these kids and the families, and then also providing an outlet. And so they, we do try to do a lot of fun events throughout the year to kind of maybe, take their minds off of it. But I will say this, and it's probably the hardest part about it, is if you spend time with these kids, they're normal kids and they do normal kid things, and going in for chemo and all these different treatments, that's just what they're used to. They don't know anything differently. And they just do it with a smile, and you just look at them and thinking, my gosh, what kind of a world that, they're living in that they just think is normal. And it's things like that that kind of resonates for me. And, I'm always kind of have a soft spot to try to help people that are in predicaments that really it was none of their doing. It wasn't any choice that they made. So it's those types of things that kind of resonate with me.
No, absolutely. And, God forbid anyone or any of our friends or any of our industry colleagues are in those situations. It's nice to know that there's people out there that are willing to go above and beyond, because I couldn't fathom if one of my children ended up in that situation. But it's comforting knowing that at least there's some kind of support system out there if that ever happens.
Well, Jesse, we've been fortunate that, our industry has been able to provide, a good stable platform for us to a career, and as we've gotten older, at least for me, you have a little more time on your hands, and you don't have your hands full with kids and family events. So it's a great time for me to be able to give back, and selfishly, it gives back to me as well.
Well, perfect. Well, on that note, as we're talking about the industry, when people are watching this, what can they do to help support maybe even this ride or Candlelighters in general, Eric?
I think I'd deflect that a little bit, Jesse, and I would just say, there's lots of great causes out there. And if somebody is watching this and says, that looks like a lot of fun, my recommendation is to go find something that resonates with you, and make that your donation of your time and your compassion and your energy. To me, that's the best way to carry on, the legacy of our industry, and each one of our industries, or ourselves, I should say. It makes a difference.
No, absolutely, sir. Well, I appreciate your time today, Eric. And hopefully our paths cross sometime in the near future. Thank
We
you.
always will. And Jesse, I want to thank you for taking the lead on this whole initiative. And you're a good man, and you're doing a lot of good things. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll still question the good man part of that, but I'm trying my best.
All right.
All right, Eric. You have a good day, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Take
Jesse.
care. Okay. Bye.